In a shocking move, U.S. President Donald Trump and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky have prepared to sign a strategic mineral agreement worth up to $1 trillion. This is an important step in the relationship between the two countries, opening up great opportunities for Ukraine, but also posing many challenges. Can this agreement really help Ukraine rebuild and the U.S. recoup its huge aid to this country? Let's explore with D2 Global News right here. In terms of economic benefits, is this the necessary boost for Ukraine and the U.S.? For Ukraine, it is a lever to rebuild the country. After many years of war, Ukraine needs resources to rebuild its economy. The exploitation of strategic minerals such as rare earths, lithium, graphite, and uranium will help this country attract huge capital flows from the U.S. Ukrainian minerals can play an important role in the high-tech and renewable energy industries, bringing in hundreds of billions of dollars in revenue. More importantly, the U.S. is committed to investing in mining facilities and establishing a joint reconstruction fund with Ukraine. This can help Ukraine quickly restore its economy and upgrade its inefficient mining industry. However, mineral exploitation does not bring immediate benefits. It takes many years to explore, invest, and put mines into commercial operation. In addition, with 50% of revenue flowing into a joint fund with the U.S., Ukraine may lose some sovereignty in its resource exploitation decisions. For the U.S., this is an opportunity to recover aid and reduce dependence on China. This agreement has two main benefits. First, Washington can recover part of the huge amount of money it has given to Kyiv in the war. Second, access to Ukrainian minerals helps the U.S. reduce its dependence on China, especially in the rare earth sector, a key factor for the semiconductor, electric vehicle and defense industries. But the U.S. also faces challenges. Mining in a country that is still in conflict is not easy. The U.S. will need to ensure political stability in Ukraine to be able to maximize this source of profit. However, does this agreement bring Ukraine benefits or dependence? First of all, this agreement means that Ukraine is becoming more and more dependent on the U.S. If in the past, U.S. aid was mainly weapons and finance, now the U.S. will have a direct economic interest in Ukraine. This can help Kyiv ensure long-term support from Washington, but also reduce Ukraine's autonomy in economic decisions. In addition, Ukraine once signed a mineral exploitation agreement with the EU, but now the US has taken the lead. This can create conflicts of interest between Ukraine and Europe, especially when countries like France and Germany also want to access Ukrainian resources to ensure their own mineral supply. For the US, this not only helps the U.S. participate in the Ukrainian mining industry for economic benefits, but this is also a strategic move to consolidate influence in Eastern Europe. When it has the right to exploit resources in Ukraine, the U.S. will have a legitimate reason to maintain a long-term presence in this country. Russia is certainly not happy with this. Moscow may not directly confront the U.S., but it may use economic warfare and indirect tactics to destabilize Ukraine, making resource exploitation more difficult. China currently controls about 40% of global rare earth reserves, supplying most of the important minerals to Western industries. U.S. investment in Ukraine may weaken China's monopoly in the mining industry. However, Beijing may react by increasing control over supply or seeking new mines in Africa and South America to compensate for competition from the U.S. This can lead to a future mineral trade war. The European Union once hoped to cooperate with Ukraine in the field of resource exploitation. But now the US has gained most of the advantage. Countries like Germany and France may seek to negotiate separately with Kyiv, or even compete with the US for the right to exploit important mines. Although the EU and the US are allies in the economic field, they still have their own interests. US monopoly of Ukrainian minerals can create tension in relations between Washington and Brussels, especially when Europe also needs these resources for the renewable energy and electric vehicle industries. One of Ukraine's biggest demands when signing this agreement is security assurance from the US. Kyiv expects that when the US has economic interests in Ukraine, Washington will be ready to protect this country from threats from Russia. However, in the content of the agreement, the US did not make specific security commitments. Instead, Washington only declared that it would support Ukraine's security efforts. This means that there is no legal obligation for the US to protect Ukraine in the event of a new conflict. In reality, the presence of US companies in Ukraine can indirectly create an economic shield. making it difficult for Russia to conduct large-scale attacks on areas with joint exploitation projects. But this cannot replace a real security treaty, such as NATO or a bilateral military alliance. The US-Ukraine mineral agreement is an important strategic move, bringing many opportunities but also many challenges. Ukraine can exploit huge economic potential but also trade off some resource sovereignty and independence in decision-making. The US has the opportunity to recover aid, reduce dependence on China, and increase influence in Eastern Europe, but also faces major risks in the actual implementation process. Other countries such as Russia, China and the EU will have their own moves to deal with this agreement, thereby creating a new geopolitical and economic competition. Is this agreement really a smart move for both sides? Or is Ukraine betting too much on its relationship with the US? Only time can tell. Thank you for watching this video. What do you think about this? Please leave your comments below. Click like, share and subscribe to the channel to not miss the latest content from us. Best regards and goodbye.